Greetings everyone, this is Rambling Collector here, and welcome back for another comic review. So this one in particular is going to be very special, as we are going to be diving into the self-published work known as Bound, by Matt Forsyth, Therese Lewis, and Kevin Lill. So, a little bit of fun backstory. I have actually met the creators of this comic twice now in person at some local conventions. And they have been genuinely some of the nicest people I've met. And frankly, seeing that they were doing their own indie manga slash comic series, I was immediately drawn in and knew I had to grab a copy for myself. Especially seeing that they had the first 6 issues of their comic in like a very nice manga-esque style graphic novel, which to me instantly grabbed my attention. But also, so did the amazing artwork. So I've got a bit of a mix here of the first 6 issues compiled into manga form and the next 3 issues in single issue form. But let's talk a little bit more about this in the next slide, shall we? Let's get started. So first and foremost, if you will allow me to gush here for a moment, the artwork and story really provides a fun callback to classic manga such as Alita Battle Angel and Ghost in the Shell. Now, for those of you who have followed my channel for a while, you would know at one point I was a massive fan of Ghost in the Shell, as in dove straight into the rabbit hole, watching all the anime I can get my hands on, collecting every scrap of the manga. So yeah, Ghost in the Shell was my passion for a while. But seeing Bound here really gave me a nice callback to that time, when Ghost in the Shell was on my mind 24/7. Not to mention the really cool storyline of a cyberpunk style of story. But cyberpunk for me will always be one of my favorite subgenres each and every time. But going for the main character here, Natalia, she makes her a very fun character. Her scavenging for old history books and searching for answers after gaining a parasitic bond with an interdimensional demon, which makes her story over the course of the series an interesting one. So for context, Natalia here goes around looking for older records of the world before it became the way it is, because the way I would describe the world of Bound is that it is post-war slash apocalyptic. When you look outside of the great city that they all inhabit, that Natalia lives in, you see what looks like an endless expanse of desert, or possibly blasted wasteland. So already you can tell that this is not a bright and happy world that Natalia inhabits. There is a lot of history here that has been lost, that she aims to discover and gain the answers to. But this is all complicated by the fact that a demon from another dimension forms this bond with her, connecting with her. And quite frankly, the process looks a little terrifying from what I remember of reading through it. But overall, there's a great mystery here that I am very intrigued by. And even as I've read through the first 8 issues of this comic series, I am thoroughly intrigued and still very much scratching my head about what the answers are going to be, how this series will wrap up in general. And frankly, this just goes to show that even if the series ends, I really do hope we'll see more from this world. It feels as if there are more mysteries to be discovered in this world. So, for those of you who are like me, who really enjoy a good dose of history or who are always questioning and looking for answers, this series might be worth it for you. I guarantee you'd enjoy it, and if not just for the story, then for the amazing artwork, which, to provide example here. As you can see, I was not joking when I said the artwork really gives a good callback to Ghost in the Shell. The great line art, attention to detail, everything looks almost alive in this world when you look at it. From the characters to the designs of the creatures to even the city itself, it all feels alive and very in-depth. And to me, that just goes great talent for the artists themselves, really being able to suck you into this world with not only great artwork, but also good story. And if you can find that In a comic book, you've got a great read on your hands. Especially for this, because sometimes you will have those comics that have great stories but very bad artwork. And then you'll have the opposite scale of that, where it is amazing artwork, but very shallow, thin stories that are very predictable. This one I feel has that great balance to it, where it's an intriguing enough story where you are really wanting to know more, but at the same time, the artwork paints a very interesting, very dark, and very fun picture for you to follow along with. And to me, that is always a great sign for a great comic. And this one, with Bound, definitely helps out with that. But I think I might have prattled on long enough. Let's get on to the closing thoughts, shall we? So for right now, Bound, as far as I'm aware, is not finished yet. It is possibly close to finishing from what the artists and writers have told me. However, just from what I have read so far, I would have to give it a solid 8 out of 10, because again, the series is not concluded. But from what I have read, it is amazing, definitely worth the time. And if you guys are interested to check out this particular series for yourself, you can go to their website at Hexapus Inc. and you'll be able to buy all the versions, whether physical or digital, as far as I'm aware. You can get the digital copies, or you can order the physical copy of the first 6 volumes in their manga compiled format. Honestly, I'd say go for the physical. It's definitely worth to put on the shelf. Small, out of the way, perfectly fits with the rest of the manga, at least in my opinion. But if you're curious to really get hyped into the story, the digitals are there as well. Me personally, I will always be a physical collector, but I do believe Bound is always worth the read, whether digital or physical. So, if you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe if you're curious for more. If you really want to check out Bound again, I will leave a link to their website in the description down below, so that way you can figure it out for yourself. And to the creators of Bound, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for providing such an amazing story and allowing me the chance to be able to give you all a shout out to show your work to a broader audience. I hope you did enjoy this video if you are watching. And to the rest of you viewers, thank you so much for listening to this crazy man's ramblings about various books, comics, and manga. If you're curious for more, I will leave a link to the playlist for independent authors at the end of this video, or if you want to see some of the other comics that I have covered, then feel free to check out that playlist as well. I guarantee you might recognize a few titles if you take a look, and who knows, I would love to take some more opportunities or suggestions if you have any. Once again, thank you all for listening. This is Rambling Collector, signing off for now, and have a great day, fellow readers, and I will see you all in the next video.